We got a great show for you tonight, talking a little bit more about our man that we talked about last night on the live, Will Anderson Jr. Here's the deal. Over the next 5 shows, we have 5 shows left before draft night, which is 16 days away now. We're going to be breaking down the top 5 prospects we feel are the Detroit Lions pick at number 6. It could potentially be Will Anderson. He's number 1 on the list for a reason. So tonight, we're going to deep dive him a little bit more than we did on the live last night. If you want to check out the live, make sure you get over to YouTube. But Eric, Will Anderson in Honolulu blue. I don't even care if he wears 31 and has to take it from Kirby Joseph. What makes Will Anderson a top draft prospect in 2023? We have both said that he's the best prospect in this draft.
100% he is.
Why?
He is. We agree as well that there's also a lot of good talent, a lot of high-end talent in this draft. I'm sure you would agree with this point as well, that he is, I think, the only one, at least in the top 10 or the top 5, that has the best chance of being dominant at his position. Like, I think Stroud may be good, Bryce Young may be good, Jalen Carter may pan out and be pretty good at some point, but I think Will Anderson is the best odds-on draft prospect that can be dominant at his position, especially considering what he does. As an edge rusher, he is so skilled, so powerful, and he's just been a walking embodiment of it his entire career. I mean, dominated at Alabama. I mean, second year, 17 and a half sacks. Didn't slow down at all with the dominance he had this past season with 10. He was all over the place. He would be a absolute home run of a selection. It's going to take some work if the Lions are interested, but just as a firm prospect, he's easily, without question, the best player in his draft class.
He is, hands down, the best player. 83.6 PFF grade in 2022, 685 snaps, 14 sacks, not snacks, 14 snacks. I'm sure he had more than 14 snacks. Yeah, right. 14 sacks. And then what's interesting, too, is he also had multiple alignments along the defensive line. Now, there weren't many. Like in the A gap, for instance, I think he only had like 7 alignments in the A gap. But he did have a decent amount in the B gap and graded out at an 80.9. Then he also lined up over the tackle and then outside the tackle. But what this guy is he's versatile. According to the PFF draft guide, he is an every down back, like an every down edge.
Yes.
And this is like the bookend that you need. It's absolutely the bookend that you need with Aiden Hutchinson. Yes. It's purely a dream at this point. It would be fantastic, and I feel like I would be in heaven should this be drafted this way. But I mean, when you're talking about a guy who is legitimately considered by the NFL Draft Combine profile prospect as Pro Bowl talent, has a 7.02 prospect grade. That's pretty significant.
And we kind of talked about it on the live yesterday, and I wanted to peel back on it a little bit more. To me, when you watch him, especially with his position, like when you see the DNs that have come out recently, like the guys like Chase Young, even if you look at other guys like Brian Arakpo, Jadeveon Clowney, those dudes are just like built different than what Will Anderson looks like. To me, he kind of has that. We kind of talked about Aaron Donald's elusiveness in terms of what he brought, because obviously he's dominant in his position, but he was drafted 13th for a reason, or 14th for a reason. So it's not really that, he jumps off the screen in terms of physical stature, but once the whistle goes off, that's when they make their play. And I see that for Will Anderson as well. Even without him being physically dominant in terms of his measurables, I don't believe he makes up for it 100% with what his production is. He's unbelievable prospect.
How does this name sound to you? DeMarcus Ware.
Love it. That's
literally his draft profile comp from Lance Zierlein.
I like that.
And I know PFF comps him to Randy Gregory.
So 2 Dallas Cowboys. Okay.
2 very solid edges. two guys that I'm sure any Lions fan would have loved to have had on the Detroit 100%. Lions. This is a target and a reason why the Lions should or could be, as we talked about last night, in the mix for trading up with Arizona.
Yep.
If you want to know what that's going to cost, go watch our video from last night. But if you're going to make a trade up or you're going to make a move out of 6 and go up to get somebody, you are only doing that for one person, and that one person is Will Anderson.
Yes. And he's
nobody else.
He's not like, and it's not a positional thing too. A lot of times, when teams gamble and they want to trade up, it's a positional thing. Oh, we need a quarterback. Oh, we need this position. No. He's in a class of his own because he's not sold on the value of a defensive edge rusher, which is extremely valuable in the NFL. But what he brings as a player is just domination that would translate well in the NFL. Like, he's very quick with his rushes. He has an array of moves. Again, deceptively strong. Like, I don't have any question about how he'll translate, especially not just pass rushing, but run support as well. And if you have the extra resources to still add other defensive tackles around him, it's going to make him and Aiden Hutchinson that much more dangerous. I cannot wait to see what this D-line looks like next season.
I cannot wait either, but we're going to talk about his impact on the Lions right after this. Let's talk to the people about GearUpDetroit.shop.
Let's do that. Hey, Detroit sports fans. Did you know you can rep your favorite team in style without even leaving this page? Gear Up Detroit store is now available right here on YouTube, just below the video you're watching with us right now.
That's right. You can browse through our range of high-quality, unique, and stylish merchandise for all your favorite Detroit sports teams. The Lions, the Tigers, the Red Wings, the Pistons, without missing a single moment of your favorite Detroit sports show beyond the box.
Also, if you want to explore even more awesome swag, you can always visit GearUpDetroit.shop for a full range of tees, hoodies, hats, and more, all designed by very talented local artists.
So gear up for the next game, support local creators, and make a statement with Gear Up Detroit. And remember, you can shop right here on YouTube or visit GearUpDetroit.shop. Now, Eric, what impact would Will Anderson have should he be drafted to the Lions, either falling to 6 or they trade up to 3 to get him? Let's kind of think about the potential impact that a player like him could have opposite Aiden Hutchinson on that defensive front seven.
He's a guy that's going to play right away. For a lot of conversation with a lot of the options of players that could be drafted at 6, outside of a defensive lineman, if you had a cornerback, if they reach for offense, if you reach for a quarterback, they're not going to play right away on this team. He plays immediately if you trade up and go get him, or if he lands in your lap at 6 and you bring him in. He's a guy that's going to play right away. And again, I believe the impact would be immediate given his skill set. I believe we saw a lot of good upside from James Houston, but something tells me, and we talked about it on the live, you said it, he's going to, I believe, be a lot more involved in just in being an outside linebacker as well, not an exclusive rusher, because a lot of his plays that you saw him do, like one of my favorite plays this season was when he sacked Justin Fields. Like when he was in coverage before he made that play. He was not just rushing off the rip. He was in coverage and he closed the gap in 3 seconds and brought an open field runner like Justin Fields down. So I believe being able to then add a Will Anderson into that fold, and again, we believe he's the best player in the draft. We believe that his skill set is extremely complementary to what they already have on this D-line, and you would see the other D linemen around him, Kaminsky, Buggs, Hutch, you would see their skill set, their numbers, their overall impact take another step forward. And I think that would be huge for what this defensive line needs.
You talk about upgrading the defense, and you've done so in the secondary.
A lot, yes.
Haven't really addressed the defensive line unless names are escaping me, but I mean, you have Hutch, you have Houston, you got Buggs back, which is good. You've got Aleem McNeil. Unsure if Levi is going to be able to play, so that's a potential problem.
Kaminsky, they got back.
Kaminsky they got back as well. So like your defensive line is not terrible. Now we know that the linebacker core is not the best. Probably the weakest part of the unit at this point now, led by Alex Anzalone. They can like him in the locker room. That's great, fantastic. Don't love his play on the field. You add somebody like a Will Anderson who can play a stand-up end, who can play over the tackle, who has played in the B gap. He doesn't get washed down. We watched his highlights last night and saw great shoulder pad level to the parallel with the line of scrimmage. Kept outside leverage great on rushing attacks. Really met mesh points really well and dominated in the SEC, one of the better conferences in America. You cannot discredit the skill and the impact that somebody like that can have opposite Aiden Hutchinson, who was the best defensive player as a rookie last year. Should have won Defensive Rookie of the Year, Eric. I'm never going to let you live that down, by the way.
I know you won't let me live off of that. I'm sorry, man.
I will not.
I wanted him to win too. I was there for it.
No, you didn't.
I
Don't.
Hutch,
do not
Hutch,
try to change your tune.
You know you ride with me, Hutch.
No, Hutch.
Come on, man.
Hutch, you listen and you listen good, Aiden Hutchinson. Eric said Sauce Gardner should win Defensive Rookie of the Year. Your boy AJ, it's great to be a Michigan Wolverine.
Ohio
AJ,
State fan.
Former, and then got my heart right with Jesus and came over to the right side.
Okay.
Aiden, I had your back. Eric did not.
It's okay. I'm right with you.
Always
I'm right with you.
No, you won't. Don't try to butter him up now.
He knows the real.
You literally picked Sauce Gardner over him.
I'm just objective, man.
Loyalty.
I'm objective.
No, you don't have loyalty. We discussed this. We've discussed this previously.
I don't accept it. I don't accept this slander. I don't deserve this.
No, you are distracted by the flash.
No, it's not. But either way. Hey, actually, you know what? On that same topic, let me quick pop fly. Would you say right now, what unit group right now would you say is the strength of this Lions defense? Yes.
Right now?
As it's set right now, before the draft, we ain't got to it yet. What would you say is their strong suit? Because I would capitalize off of it, but I just want to see what you think.
Defensive line.
You would say the line is right now?
Their edges.
Really?
I think I don't think the secondary upgrades were good.
Okay.
But they didn't go out and get the best of the best of the best. Like, these guys are good and they're clear upgrades, but are they the best core of our defense? I don't think so. I know for sure it ain't the linebackers.
Yeah, we agree
We
there.
can't talk about punt returners at that point. So at this point, it's the edge rushers. I mean, when you talk about Aiden Hutchinson and James Houston, they are the best players on that defense right now.
I agree, but I don't think it's a clearing, though. I don't think, because see what...
Because I also have Aiden's back.
Oh, that's what this is. Continuous shield. But I don't know. I don't think it's a clearing in an easy call that it's defensive line. I mean, adding in, Sutton, bringing in Mosley, bringing Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, I think those upgrades, along with having Jerry Jacobs and Okudah not having to be one of your primary defenders, you can make a case, along with having Tracy Walker back and a second-year Kirby Joseph, you can make a case that maybe the quarterbacks or the secondary could be viewed as a strong suit for right now, which is all the more reason to go get somebody like a Will Anderson, because in the NFL, you don't want your secondary to be the strong suit. You just don't. It's good to have talent back there, but your primary focus should be having a strong defensive line, an elite defensive line, if you can put it together.
That's true. And I hope that they do. If they can find a way to go get Will Anderson, it's going to be incredible. You let us know, though, what you think in the comments. Do you want the Lions to trade up and draft Will Anderson? And, I mean, if he's there at 6, they're taking him. And it'll be God's grace that he's there at 6. But what do you think? Let us know. We want to know in the comments, because we're going to transition into talking about those edge rushers that we were talking about, Eric.
Yep.
But before we do that, let's talk to the people about our live draft show, because we have one coming up for you. We know you're excited because we are excited about the draft. And so this live draft show that we're going to do is going to be a treat.
An absolute blast for you guys. Please join us for our exclusive 2023 NFL Draft Live Show. Your favorite analysts, AJ, Eric, and Dylan, will all be breaking down each first round pick as it happens. That's right, we'll be reacting live to all the drops, surprises, jaw-dropping moments of this NFL draft.
Part of the action, so let us know your thoughts, your reaction, even your predictions when the Lions trade up to draft Will Anderson and we're all celebrating and popping bottles. Let us know live in the comments because we will react with you as well. This is a chance to have your voice heard, engage with other Lions fans, and your two favorite Detroit sports
That's
hosts.
right. And Aiden Hutchinson's #1 fan right here. So mark your calendars for the 2023 NFL Draft Live Show, April 27th. I'm going to say it again, April 27th, hosted by Detroit Sports Nation. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit that notification bell so you don't miss a single second of this epic event on the way.
Be there or
Do
be
that.
square. And as always, go Lions.